The best thing about a bike is you can go anywhere with it.
Is that a metaphor?
No, it's literally a bike. You just go wherever you want.
It's stationary.
No, it's an air bike. Let me show you.
That doesn't make any sense.
Today we're reviewing and comparing the Bells of Steel Blitz Bike 2.0 to some of its closest competitors. And in my opinion, Bells has created one of the best value air bikes there is with this iteration. What's an air bike, you asked? Well, if you hate your life, you'll love this thing. Somewhere along the line, somebody figured out how to make cardio worse than it already was, and the air bike was born. Not only are you punished for working harder, but that death spiral multiplies itself so that the harder and faster you push, the worse it becomes until one of you breaks. And believe me, it'll be you. So what's the difference between an exercise bike or stationary bike and an air bike? With an air bike, you're going to use your arms to push the handles and feet to push the pedals, which is going to give you more of a full body workout versus something like a spin bike, which is going to focus on the lower body. Now for this video, we're focusing on a traditional air bike, which would be modeled after or evolved from something like the Schwinn Airdyne, meaning the types of fan bikes that can use your arms and legs versus something like a Concept 2 bike. Spin bikes are supposed to emulate cycling, whereas air bikes are a tool created by the devil to punish you during cardio. Because of how air bikes work, which is as you move these pedals and handles, you spin this large fan, which creates resistance, they can be used to create some really intense cardio sessions if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for maybe longer term or more relaxing exercise sessions, a spin bike or a traditional exercise bike might be more for you. I really only used my old bike to warm up if it was a lower body day, I was deadlifting, or I had forgot to turn the heat on. As an elderly member of society, I find I can't just jump onto the bar for squats without warming up first. But with an air bike, especially with these pegs, which are used for showing off your sick air bike tricks, it can be used in more ways. Before I bench or overhead press, I'll throw my feet up on the pegs and use just the handles to warm up my shoulders and back, or I can just use the pedals when I need to get my legs moving, and of course the most common way to use it is both at once. An air bike is made for those of us that like it rough. The harder you push, the worse it's going to feel. I'd say in a good way, but I enjoy cardio about as much as I enjoy folding the laundry or doing the dishes. Ask Winnie, it's about never that happens. These can be used to create some really intense cardio sessions that are probably pretty filled with pain, but if you want to, you can also use them for less intense sessions as well. Let's cover the specs and features of this thing real quick so we can compare it to other bikes in this price range. This is version 2 of this bike, and the major change in it is that they moved away from a chain drive and to a belt-driven system, which is going to be more responsive, less maintenance, and quieter versus a chain-driven bike. And for the most part, this is a quiet bike, or at least as quiet as air bikes can be, because they're all fairly noisy because you're moving so much air with a large fan. In this case, a 25-inch metal fan. You're always going to have fan noise, but there's no creaking or rattling to generate additional noise because it's a solidly built bike. It does have 2 wheels up front to help you move it around. Now, I'm not saying they have to go off-roading like the 35s on a Fringe Raptor bike, but moving it can be a little bit quirky because you can only lift that backside so high before the front side hits the floor. At 118 pounds with a 350 pound weight capacity, it's a solid bike. That makes it a few pounds less than Rogue's Echo bike, but a little bit heavier than the Assault Bike Classic. Even when pushing yourself hard on intervals, it stays still and doesn't shake. That stability comes from a build that is mostly metal, from the frame to the pedals. And it also has an H-shaped base with 4 adjustable feet that you can adjust. 4 feet that you can adjust if your flooring is uneven. Any of the parts that are plastic are what you'd expect. The removable wind guard, LCD monitor, and other non-structural components. The monitor is big and easy to see and displays everything you'd expect. RPMs, distance, calories, intervals, and so on, and you can plug most heart rate monitors into it. There's also buttons for intervals like 10-20, 20-10, but you can also create your own. Set a timer, distance target, calorie target, or heart rate. The phone holder is built into the monitor, and though it really doesn't look like much, it will hold your phone in either orientation. In landscape, it actually holds it really well, but in portrait, it'll jiggle a little bit when you're really pushing on those intervals. It's never dropped when I'm pushing really hard, but I do worry a little bit. Having a comfortable seat is essential on one of these things because as you're using it and death becomes a better alternative than continuing on, you at least want to be comfortable in that tube. And I think Bell's saw our Superbench Pro review where we talked about having too much cake for the seat of that thing because Bell's mentions the seat 6 times in the listing. So let's put that no sore buns to the test. It's got your traditional padded seat that's built for comfort, not for speed, but the stitching is really well done and it is a comfortable seat. It can be easily adjusted up and down in 1-inch increments and slides forward and backwards very easily as well. Just pull the knob or lever on the back of the seat and adjust. Which is nice for Winnie and I because we're not remotely built the same, so we need those quick adjustments. And you can also tilt the seat by loosening the bolt underneath it, tilt it, tighten it back up again. I like the adjustability of this seat versus a Rogue Echo bike because, well, there's just more options. And with a sliding lever lock, you can be truly picky with your adjustments, even if it might not be entirely necessary. Assembly is pretty simple. You can probably put it together without ever looking at the instructions, but it's also where its origin shows its face, and it seems like these instructions might not have been written here.
Take some anaerobic adhesive on the handlebar before install them.
It arrived and was assembled unscathed, which is actually pretty impressive because before we put it together, we did legs and we were out of it. I swear we are not typically this incompetent.
What?
We're marring up the
I'm not touching anything. We're marring up? We're? What are you talking about? Are you just scratching the metal across the metal? This side is mint. What does your side look like?
It's fine. It's fine.
Hey guys, it's not looking too good when we got it. Came damaged and all scratched up.
You literally threw it out of the box.
It fell. Ah! Do like 6.
It arrives half assembled and you just have to put the feet, monitor, seat, and handles on. And though the front foot can be a little bit awkward to get on, I destroyed enough bikes as a child to figure that one out. And though the instructions aren't amazing, the packaging is pretty good. I think the Blitz bike is a good value, if not the best value fan bike on the market, especially considering that basically all these are made overseas. Rogue, Assault, Bell's, Fringe, Titan, and so on. And if you take a look at them, there's a lot of similarities between all of the models. But with the Bell's bike, it's one of the lower priced ones with this kind of build quality, and with a 2-year warranty, Bell's clearly believes in their product. For a fan bike, we're looking for something that's solidly built, operates smoothly, and is stable. And honestly, for the vast majority of us, that's all we'll ever need. And this bike checks off all of those marks. And I would definitely put it up against the Rogue Echo bike, which is $100 more. And though I do like the monitor on the Echo a little bit more, neither of them are going to blow you away. And with Rogue, you have to pay extra for things like the bottle holder and the wind guard. And sure, the turf tires are nice, but I'm not going to be moving it around enough for it to matter. And I don't want to spend $100 on a set of tires because, like I said, I'm not moving it much. The Assault Bike Classic is another popular choice, but it's also more expensive than the Blitz bike. And it's chain driven, so it can be louder and will need a bit more maintenance. If you want a cheaper version of the Assault Bike Classic, just go look at Titan's fan bike. When it's not on sale, it's the same price as this bike, though it is chain driven, but it also comes with those big turf tires. It's essentially a classic Titan move. Find the most popular option and copy it. And that's basically what this is. Then there's the Fringe Raptor bike, which is another solid bike, but it's around $1,000. And honestly, I'm not sure there's enough differences between the two to warrant that difference in price. Overall, this is probably my top selection for an air bike at this price. I think for the money, you're just getting a lot of quality. Sure, none of these are cheap, but I think for most people, there's really not much reason to upgrade from here. There are definitely fancier bikes with more bells and whistles, but if I'm not using a ton or training for and competing in CrossFit, this is probably your best option. Like, comment, and subscribe to boost us on that algorithm. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.
What are you doing?
Oh, I was trying to get the box out of the way.
Yeah.